My name's Tom Garrity. I head up the communications for the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Welcome to the public safety briefing. Today's briefing is going to be run by the Director of Public Safety. His name is Sean Wallace. And with that, what I'd like to do is introduce Mr. Sean Wallace. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Good morning, everybody. Again, like Tom said, my name is Sean Wallace. It's S-E-A-N-W-A-L-L-A-C-E. We have a great turnout today. We have a number of guests that I want to recognize before we get too far into this. First is we have Al Tetrault. He's the president of the board for us. And he actually started public safety way back when. And it's guys like that that have made it to where we are today. Second, we have Special Agent in charge for the FBI, Raul Bahunda. If I said that right, I'm sorry, sir, if I butchered it. And then we have Sarah Gamble wasn't able to join us, but she has been a part of our public safety team, meetings, planning, training. She's with New Mexico. She's a representative for New Mexico for Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. And without their commitment, we wouldn't be here either. One of the biggest things I want to do before we go any further is I want to take this opportunity to recognize somebody. And obviously, being members of the media, you guys are going to recognize this name right away. But Daniel Bourne was a member of our team. He was a member of public safety. He was looking forward to being out here with us. And I bring that up because I want to talk a little bit about the legacy that he's leaving and the family that he left. His wife sent me an email on Monday saying two things. One, where can she return his stuff, his equipment, because she knew it was super important for us to get it back. But two, she hoped that we would be able to find a replacement. And quite frankly, that's what makes Albuquerque great, is people like that. People that recognize sacrifice, people that recognize that there's something bigger than ourselves. And for her to say those things, I remember thinking, man, what is she thinking? And then on the same thing, I'm thinking like, well, there's no way we're going to ever be able to replace your husband. His loss is felt throughout the community, obviously throughout our team. We're going to do our best going forward, but I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank her for her service, and obviously Daniel for his. Retired firefighter with Bernalillo County Fire, served his community for many, many years. So just felt like I couldn't get this thing started before we recognized him. So with that being said, we have been working tirelessly for the last couple of years, actually planning the 50th. You know, when we were, even during COVID, there was talks about the 50th. What were we gonna do for the 50th? When the 49th ended, we started planning that next week. We started having meetings. How do we make things better? It wasn't just public safety, it was all the different entities throughout the Balloon Fiesta organization. But one of the things that we knew was apparent is we had to do a better job from our standpoint as public safety officers. And one of the ways we did that is we increased our hiring. And you will notice that there will be more public safety officers on the park than ever before. And one of the ways we've done that is we were able to increase the wages for them, which was brought to us by the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta board, spearheaded by the president and supported through the board. And my boss, Sam Parks, pushed for it, Paul Smith. They did a great job of being able to get us to a point where we can be selective in who we hire, but also increase the numbers. Last year, we just weren't able to keep up with the demand. So this year we're sitting in a really good position as far as public safety officers are concerned, and I'm really excited about the product that we bring. So before I turn it over to my partners, one of the things I want to talk about is things that you may notice or that may be new this year to Balloon Fiesta. One of the things that we looked at throughout the year based on different things that have happened throughout the United States and the world is people doing bad things at large-scale events. And whether that's bringing knives or guns into events like that. With that being said, I know APD and BCSO will talk about what they're bringing to the table, but from a public safety standpoint, one of the things that we've changed is there will be no firearms on the premises unless you're an on-duty police officer. I say again, there will be no firearms on the premises. If you are a concealed carrier or an off-duty police officer, don't bring it. We don't want you out here with your firearms. We have an increased number of officers on site, and we just feel like it would be detrimental to the response if we have individuals that are off-duty trying to respond to an incident that may occur. Secondly, and we say this every year, please, please, please remember, give yourself plenty of time to get to the event. We're expecting record crowds this year. We're thinking that the weather's going to be good, and we're excited to launch a record number of balloons. So please make sure you get here in time to enjoy the show. One of the things that we ask that you remember is that we don't want you bringing certain things to the park. One of the things we ask you not to bring is alcohol. There will be alcohol here that can be purchased, but do not bring alcohol from home. You will be allowed to bring wagons and backpacks and bags to the event. There's no clear bag restriction. However, know that your bags will be searched upon entering the premises. Again, no firearms, no alcohol, and no knives with a blade longer than 3 inches. The next thing I want to talk a little bit about is Tag Your Tots. State Police is going to talk a little bit about it, but one of the things that our partners at State Police have done is they've really stepped up this year and have increased the number of sites that we're going to have for Tag Your Tots. This is super huge for us because in the past we had one site in the middle of the field, but we felt like we were missing out on a large number of kiddos that were coming to the park. So this year you'll see that there will be multiple places where you can do Tag Your Tots. The last thing I want to do before I move on is I want to introduce my team. My team works nonstop. I have a couple of people that have basically been out here for the last month, every day, straight, rain or shine, that are working tirelessly. And that's Richard Henderson and Michelle Hernandez. They run our field. And without them, the show could not go on. So I just want to give them a shout out and make sure that they know that their work doesn't go unnoticed. Another name that you may recognize is Justin Staley. He's new to our team. He is my assistant, and he has the authority to act in my behalf whenever I'm not around. The big thing that he brings is just a wealth of knowledge and a training experience from Albuquerque Fire Rescue, so we're happy to have Justin here. So with that being said, I just, again, want to thank you all for being here. We're super excited about where we're headed. We're super excited about the event. The 50th is something I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to be a part of, so I'm happy to be a part of that. So now I'll turn it over to Deputy Chief Chris Romero with AFR.
Thanks, Sean. Sounds good. Thanks again, Sean. Thank you guys all for being here this morning. I'm Chris Romero, Deputy Chief Fire Marshal for Albuquerque Fire Rescue. AFR will be operating in 3 different roles this year at the Fiesta. We will have fire prevention and code enforcement, fire suppression, and emergency medical services. We'll have inspectors from a fire prevention and code enforcement standpoint. We'll have inspectors from our fire marshal's office conducting inspections throughout the rest of the week. They'll be working with on-site vendors to make sure that they're operating in a safe manner. We'll be responsible for code enforcement, ensuring all the fire lanes are clear and emergency vehicle access is maintained. We also will be responsible for the inspections and safety during all the fireworks displays. From a fire suppression standpoint, we'll have fire suppression units staged strategically throughout the park, and we'll provide fire suppression for Vendor Row, Propane Alley during propane filling operations, and during the fireworks shows. And from an emergency medical services standpoint, AFR will staff and strategically place multiple advanced life support units to provide EMS care throughout the park. In addition, AFR will work with the on-site Loveless Medical Clinic, as well as Albuquerque Ambulance to coordinate additional patient needs as transport is needed. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Next, we'll have Deputy Chief Matt Broom with New Mexico State Police.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Also want to thank Chris for introducing the Tag Your Tots program. While we sincerely appreciate the opportunity to work with our fellow law enforcement entities in state and federal and local to ensure your safety, the biggest footprint that you'll see from state police will be the Tag Your Tots program. In addition to the main thoroughfare that you have out here where we're usually at, there'll be other locations throughout to be able to tag your tots. If you don't know what that program is, come by the booth. We'll give you basically a wrist wrap where we have a contact with your family member's number on it in case you get lost. If you're a kiddo, we'll be able to contact you so you can come pick them up. This program is not just for kids. If you happen to be here with a loved one who is suffering from either Alzheimer's, dementia, or any kind of special needs, please come by the booth. We'll gladly give them a wristband and give them a way for us to be able to contact you in case they wander off. The other thing that's going to be here this year will be the Missing Persons Clearinghouse. This is a program where we fill out a form for you in the event that you have a loved one who does go missing. We're going to help you fill out the form, and we're going to give it to you on a thumb drive. We do not keep the information. That's your information. In the event that it could be years from now, but you'll have the ability to have the information you need to be able to give to us to be able to enter them in the clearinghouse in case they go missing. Again, we thank you for this opportunity, and we look forward to keeping everyone safe during this balloon fiesta.
Thank you, Chief. Next up, we'll have Jennifer Caldwell with Loveless.
Hello, everyone. My name's Jennifer Caldwell. I'm charge nurse at Loveless Downtown Emergency Room. We're really excited to be part of this. It's going to be a big event this year. We're going to have a lot of providers out. Employees, they all volunteer to come out. We have physicians, we have advanced practice providers, we have nurses. We see anything from bumps, bruises, falls, all the way to we get a lot of altitude sickness here in Albuquerque and a lot of dehydration. Also, it's not just the 50-year anniversary of the Balloon Fiesta. It is Loveless's 26th year of being the official healthcare provider. We have a lot of staff that are also trained in emergency medicine, so we can handle chest pains, strokes. So please, if you have any questions, concerns, come out and see us. We're located here at the Health Public Area. Okay, thank you for having me.
Thank you. So just to follow up on that, Loveless is right here in this building. They're on the back side of us, and there's a sign up on top of this building as well. And we direct folks here if we have emergency medical situations. Next up will be Charles Cowan with 311.
Good morning. I'm just here to say that 311 is very excited to support the 50th anniversary of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. We're fully staffed. We provided our staff with all the resources needed to answer any questions regarding the fiesta or any of the events, and we'll be available if there were any public safety needs where we have to provide information to the public. Thank you. Sorry about that.
I tried to get to it. Sorry. All right. Thanks again, Charles. Next up, we have my friend Manny Gonzalez. He is the sheriff, and he's going to talk a little bit about that.
Good morning. I'm Sheriff Manny Gonzalez with the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. Our role here is threefold. The first part of that role is to ensure that the traffic flow is good in certain posts. Also ensure that people are safe at those posts. We want to make sure that when people are visiting, that hopefully that maybe whether you're in the private or public sector, you consider maybe adjusting the schedule of your employees, maybe to get to work earlier, maybe to reduce some of or mitigate some of the accidents that go on. They just cause more of delays for the people that are trying to attend the event. The second part is a law enforcement function. We do have tactical people that are actually stationed at the event. If they'll be clearly marked in their uniforms, if you need anything, they'll be here. I think the biggest thing for us, there's a couple things. Of course, our collaboration with our state and federal partners, but also the public. If you see something suspicious, please report it. Give the information to any law enforcement officer so we can look into it and or investigate it. That would be very advantageous for the people that are attending. And the third part, that would probably my PIO wasn't expecting, but we also act as ambassadors to the community. So if you need information, if you need something, just a resource, a service, maybe just a good restaurant to attend, ask our deputies, ask another law enforcement officer, or ask anybody that's attending here that frequents the Balloon Fiesta. We have a very friendly community, and I believe it's going to be a very good event. This will be my last event. I just wanted to thank everybody at the Balloon Fiesta for the relationships we built over the years. I truly have enjoyed it. I know we've had some great times. Of course, there's some adverse times, but I truly believe that this is one of the best events in the whole world. So thanks for having us, and thank you for all your involvement.
Thank you, sir. Last up will be APD Deputy Commander Mike Meisinger.
Good morning. Just want to begin by saying thank you to everyone in the room, and the stuff that I'm going to talk about wouldn't be possible without the partnerships from State Police and BCSO and our other federal partners that really helped this event go off successfully. As mentioned by Mr. Wallace, there is an increased public safety presence this year, and that is reflected in law enforcement as well. And just watching the things that have been going on around the country, we wanted to make sure that everyone could just enjoy this event as safely as possible. So expect that you may see additional officers, and you may see them in places you haven't seen before. They're there just to help you guys have fun, and if you ever have any questions or need help with anything, just go right up to them and they'll help you out, just like they always do, but there are going to be some at some different posts that you haven't seen before. There are going to be additional officers doing operations around the city. We've begun, again, with our partners over recent weeks to do what we can to try and address some crimes and round up some of the people that we know are responsible for a number of crimes around the city, so that when the people are coming in to visit, then we've created a safer environment for them. I just want to reiterate something that had been discussed, I know, in the past. There is what's called a temporary flight restriction around the city and a 4-mile radius around the park. Drones have become very common, but they are not allowed in that. So anybody that has a drone should be aware of what a TFR is and utilize the apps that are available to see if you are able to fly where you're at, because during certain times, and the majority of the time over the 9 days of this event, drones are not permitted at all. They create a safety issue, and nobody wants to receive a fine from the federal government for flying a drone, taking some pictures. So please just be aware of that and fly safe. Also, traffic around the city is going to be impacted. We are going to have record numbers. We're excited to have the people in town, but please be patient, be courteous to other drivers, and just expect a little extra time anywhere you go, whether it be driving through town or waiting in line at a restaurant. Just plan ahead. Also, for those that come to this event every year, there are some minor changes to the traffic control plan, so please just pay attention to the officer's directions and what the signs are. Nothing major, but there are a few minor things that should help with traffic flow in and out of the park to make things go a little smoother. Also, a reminder, do not stop on the roads to look at the balloons, and don't look at the balloons while you're driving. We don't want to see any additional crashes. There are going to be officers out there. Every year people seem to stop along the freeway to get some great pictures. That's not allowed. It's not safe. There are going to be officers out there and to encourage you along. So just remember that. Also, as you're going around to look at the balloons around town, remember that the businesses in Albuquerque have to continue to operate, so please don't occupy their parking lots just to watch balloons. Allow their customers to come and go, and just be courteous of those that we have to live around. Also, when you come to the event, whether you're going to the park and ride or coming here, make sure to leave your valuables at home. Keep your cars empty. We don't want to invite burglars to break in. Anything that you bring with you, plan on taking into the park. So make sure that you're checking the website ahead of time. As was mentioned earlier, there are some prohibited items. You don't want to find yourself arriving and then realizing you can't bring something into the park and having to leave it in your car for it to get stolen. So leave those things at home and come ready to have fun. Also, have a plan. The Tag Your Tots is in place. Please get there as quick as you can to register your loved ones so that we can get you reunited if you get separated. But for just general public, every year families get separated, adults get apart. So have a plan. There's so many people here. Cell phones don't always work because everyone's taking pictures and sending them to their family. So when you show up to the park, pick a rally point to say, hey, if we get separated, we go off to look at different balloons, where are we going to meet again? It will make your experience a little more enjoyable to just have that plan in place as soon as you arrive. Thank you all very much, and if you encounter anything, reach out to any of us here and we will help answer your questions when you come out to enjoy the event. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. A couple more things and then I'll turn it back over to Tom. One is I wanted to give a couple of shout outs. P&M, Eric said he didn't want to talk to anybody because he was talked out from the other day. He didn't really say that, but thank you for being part of this. P&M is obviously one of our partners in public safety and we're super appreciative of them. And then Rio Rancho Police Department, we appreciate them as well because a lot of our balloons, depending on the wind, end up there as well. So thank you for attending and we're thankful for your partnership. The big thing before I end up here is I just want to make sure everybody knows that the number of people that make up public safety and our public safety partnerships it's huge. And obviously we couldn't have them all here today, but the amount of effort and work that goes into putting on an event like this, it's a huge undertaking and I couldn't do it without their support. So again, from our public safety partners, I want to give a huge thank you to you all because that's what makes this event work. So with that, Tom?
All of the speakers today and those who did not speak but were recognized by Director Wallace will be available for one-on-ones following today's briefing. Before we open up for question and answer, I just want to be able to let you know that for tomorrow's event down at Coronado Center, that will get started at 5:30 inside the mall, and then the inflation will actually start at 6:15 thereabouts. All of our command control will be out at Coronado Center rather, and we anticipate a launch about 7:15 or so. With that, question and answer with regards to today's event. Yes.
So, Tom, you mentioned that concealed carry is not going to be allowed, and I'm curious, was that allowed in the past?
Director?
No, concealed carry was never allowed other than off-duty law enforcement. However, there was no way for us to track who was coming into the park with a firearm, if they produce an actual badge or not. Because you got to remember, some of the people that we have working those gates, they've never worked in a screening process like this. So it was easier for us to just take that piece out of the equation entirely instead of worrying about somebody that might get onto the park with a firearm without being legally credentialed.
So what's different then is that credentialed police officers who are not on duty may not carry a weapon?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. What about the area for drones? What is the permissible area?
The TFR is 4 miles.
4 miles?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And final question. You're making a big deal about, the increased law enforcement presence, and I'm wondering, because it always seemed like there was a lot of law enforcement presence to me, but what is the reason for it this year?
I think the big thing is that from incidents that we've seen around the country and even the world, is just making sure that folks know that we have the posture that we're in is one that we're gonna have the show continue, but at the same time we want to make sure that folks know that we're providing a safe and secure environment for our patrons and pilots.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Yes.
So with the amount of people expected to attend, is there anything different you guys are doing for safety this year, adding any new things?
For public safety?
Yeah.
That would include the State Police Tag Your Tots program is a recurring program that has been here for previous years. But then, the measures that Director Wallace had mentioned as well are new as well. And we can bring you up to speed on that, following our briefing today.
Okay, so nothing specific, but just an increase of law enforcement presence. That's
Correct. Other questions? Yes.
So we typically see law enforcement here, like it's not uncommon. Do you guys have like an amount of law enforcement or more public safety officers that will be out compared to, let's say, last year or years past?
Yes, I believe Director Wallace addressed that, and
Yeah,
please.
I'll talk about it again. So, we will have an increased presence. I'll let Sheriff Gonzalez and Mike Meisinger discuss that if they feel comfortable in doing so. What I will tell you is I don't feel comfortable giving you our numbers that we're gonna have, but what I will say is we have increased the amount that will be on site, and it'll be noticeable. I think that's the big thing is that when people see the amount that are gonna be out there, I want people to understand that it's just because the day and age that we live in. There are no credible threats against Fiesta. Like Sheriff said, one of the things that our folks do, both law enforcement and medical personnel as well as public safety, is we fly the flag for not only AIBF, but for the community. This is our community. This is a community event. We're super excited to have it. And I think the folks that come out here to work it are here because they want to, because they love the event and they love seeing the look on people's faces that have never been at Balloon Fiesta before. If you've seen that look, you only see it one time in that person, right? Because I remember seeing it in my children. I remember the first time I ever visited Balloon Fiesta, and I see it every year. And the look is just one of amazement, but sometimes bewilderment because they've never seen something like this. So it's hard to put that into words. But the biggest thing, going back to what your original question is that it's just going to be noticeable the amount of people that we have, and it's just because of the day and age we live in.
All right. Thank you all very much. All the people who spoke are available for one-on-ones. Thank you very much for your time today.